Okay, so sorry again about the delay. Class does start at 6. So just tonight, had to start a little later. So thank you so much for being flexible. I just had something come up. So we started a little later, but welcome to Clinical Practice with Families and Children. My name is Dr. Sapphire Boone, and I'm so excited to be able to have this class with you. Tonight we're gonna, okay, wait a minute. Tonight we're gonna talk about the course a little bit. I mean, hopefully you read something, so I'm not gonna just read it back to you. So we'll have a portion where you can just ask me about questions, but I'll definitely go over course expectations and kind of what you can expect from me as a professor. And we'll kind of just go through the class. And then we will get a little bit of meat tonight, but more definitely wanting to see kind of what you have to say, what you're looking forward to. And somebody get me a countdown for graduation because that's always important. A little bit about me. I don't know if you can see my little picture over here, but that is me, my husband, and my son. My son is now 4. Ah. Um, and he rules my life. So I got my BSW in 2010, my MSW in 2011, and my PhD in social work in 2019. If we want to have the conversation about DSW versus PhD, I'm here for it. Um, and I got that all from, it says Howard University right here because I forgot to change that from the previous professor. But as you can see on the left, I am definitely a Morgan State Bear all day long. So sorry. But yes, Hampton. Okay, I'm there for you. I'm there for you. Um, and I did go to the same school for all 3 degrees, which typically is like people tell you not to do that. But I just really had a strong family there. Like they literally uh nurtured me from a little baby, from like a 20 whatever year old. And so I just always really had a connection with my professors. And so in your graduate school level, you may or may not get that same kind of thing. It's definitely different from bachelor's level to master's level. There's definitely can be a difference. But what I try to pride myself in is to really make sure that I am connecting with students. Because they always treated me as a future colleague, and that's what you are to me. Right now you have to call me Dr. Boone, but once you graduate, if you want to call me Safi, you can. I know it's going to be super weird because I still call my professors like, professor. But they always tell me like you can call me by my first name, and that's so true because we're all colleagues. Like we're literally all colleagues. And so that's how I carry it. I also am really big on making sure that everything I wish someone told me as a student, that you have that information. I also am a huge proponent. As you see, I did all of my degrees in social work. So I just love social work up and down. I love the versatility of it. I love what you can do with the degree. And so I like to also open the class up for a little bit of career exploration and career development as well. So, what we're going to do tonight and just be thinking about like, what do you want to do in social work? Like, what types of revenue do you want to bring in? What kind of money do you want to make? What kind of lives do you want to change? Like, all of that, we can talk about all of that together. It doesn't have to be I have to be able to like be impactful, but I can't like I have to be broke being impactful. No, you can have money and you can be impactful and you can be an agent of change and a catalyst for social justice. So you can do all of that. So I really want you to tell me how you want the class to go. Like I have things I have to talk about. We're gonna go over what the class is about, right? But I also want you to get something out of the class. And so that's really what I want it to be about. I really believe in adult learning theory. I really believe that you bring all of your expertise. and you bring so much experience to really be able to cater the information to where you are and to make sure that it makes sense to you and is applicable to you as well. So that's a little bit about, well, that was a little bit about everything. Back to me. 3 years. I did work as a family preservation social worker in Baltimore City Department of Social Services. I was in the substance exposed newborn unit. Loved it. Love it. And so I have a little bias for family preservation, but I love all of child welfare. Then I did 9 years as the director of, we now call it the Child Welfare Fellowship, but at the time it was called Title 4E, which is a workforce development program. So I was the director there. So it was very different, right? I have a different trajectory than probably most of your professors because I went admin, right? I didn't go clinical. I started out clinical, but I went majority of my career in social work, in child welfare has been in administration. And so education administration. So I was the director of that program. And I'm currently the assistant director of the Child Welfare Fellowship at University of Maryland. My 9 years was at Morgan. So I worked at Morgan for 9 years. I've been teaching for 10 years. I've been teaching online for 5 years. And when I say online, I mean like synchronously. So this is like the best of both worlds. We still get to see each other, we still get to know each other, but we don't have to be in the classroom necessarily. So, but I also teach asynchronously, and I've taught in various universities because I just love teaching and I love all things social work. I also have my own business. Um, I'm going to hopefully see you all tomorrow too at our licensure prep. So that's also part of my side business is that I do licensure prep and professional development for social work. Um, and so we are definitely going to talk about licensure prep questions as it relates to child welfare. So we'll definitely squeeze that in as well. I just can't help it. Um, yes, yes, I'm here for it. Um, oh, look at this. Yes. So we're gonna do introductions. I think what I want to do is if you're brave and you want to come off mute, go ahead and jump on it. But if you would like to do the chat, that'll be good if we do a mixture. It is a large class. Oh, it looks like everybody's on here. Good. We have about 26 students. So it is a large class. So we'll be doing a lot of different ways of communicating since it probably is going to be a little difficult to get all 25 unmutes. But if you want to drop in the chat what your name is, what you like to be called, if there's a variation of your name that you would like to be called. A fun and interesting fact about yourself. It doesn't have to be super personal. It can be something, whatever you are willing to share, or you can share nothing. It's fine. Where is your practicum placement? And then 4 and 5, we can talk through that like verbally. But if you could do 1 through 3 in the chat, and then we'll talk through 4 and 5 verbally. Oh yeah, that works. So if you could put your well, you don't have to put your necessarily your name, but if there's a different name you like to be called, because obviously I see it on Zoom, so you don't have to put your name. But if there's a different name, a nickname that you go by or something else that you go by, put that in the chat. Fun, interesting fact about yourself and where is your practicum placement? Because that way I know a little bit about you. Um,
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So my name's Essence. I like to be called Essence.
Okay.
Um, an interesting fact about me. I don't know. Um, I enjoy getting my nails done. My practical placement is at N Street Village in DC, is working in transitional housing with homeless women.
Okay.
Um,
Nice.
Completely different than what I'm used to, but I've been there still the first year and this year. And I love it. I'm used to actually being in the child welfare field, but I
Okay.
wanted to try something completely new. But it's also making me a little confused as to what I want to do after graduation.
Okay.
Um, my expectations as far as the course, I want to, learn more about child welfare considering I was in the child welfare field and working in foster care for 4 years up
Okay.
until COVID. And so I kind of just want to learn a little bit more because I know a lot more within DC. I want to know more, I guess, specifically within Baltimore, I guess.
Okay.
Um,
Great.
and I think that's it. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do after school.
Yep. I understand. I understand.
Now I can go.
Yep, go
Um,
ahead.
Hi, my name is Tarina. Um, and Tarina, you can call me Tarina. Um, Interesting fact, I need to travel. My practicum placement is at Roberta's house. And it's a grief counseling center in Baltimore City. What I expect to from this course, um, I guess I just need to learn because I'm not that this is something that I don't know a lot about. So I'm just open to learn everything about child welfare. And so in my practicum placement, my field instructor is like, okay, you need to know more about children. I'm going to give you children. So I need to know a lot more. So yeah.
Nice. Thank you so much.
I can go. Hi everybody. My name is Jenna. Fun fact about me is that I have a twin sister. I'm older, so I'm the better twin, of course. My practicum placement. You didn't know that, Dr.
I
Boone?
remember knowing that. I don't think I knew that. Did I
I
know
feel like I told you, but yes, I do have a twin
that?
sister.
Okay.
It's okay. That's usually my go-to fun fact because that's kind of like the only fun fact. It's just the easiest one to say. Um, my practicum placement this year is at Family Connections Baltimore. My expectations for the course is to, I guess, um, fill in the gaps of a lot of the things that I haven't learned yet because I feel like in with trainings and things I've definitely learned a good amount and in placement, but I feel like there's still a lot of like more specifics that I within child welfare that I want to learn. And I hope to learn things that are helpful for that competency exam and more about, taking the exam and what to expect for that test specifically. So it's good to see you all, and I'm excited for the semester.
Thank you, Jenna.
I can go next. Hi, Dr. Boone.
Hey, Kaya.
And hi, everyone. My name is Kaya Dean. I also go by Kayo, whichever works for anyone. Fun fact, I am in a bit of content creation. I always have my camera everywhere. They're all over my room. My practicum placement is at the Prince George's County Department of Social Services in the Ready by 21 unit. My expectation slash what do I hope to learn from this course is just how to be a better, I guess, clinical worker and improve my clinical skills for the clinical role that I will be working in once I graduate. And like Dr. Boone, I want to start off clinical, but the goal is to, probably take over SSA one day. So yeah, that's me.
I don't, yeah, okay. Yep. Ooh, they need something. They need some help.
I'll go
All right.
next. Hi,
Go ahead.
folks. I'm Maya.
Hi,
I
Maya.
put this in the chat already. I will be cross-stitching while we do this. This is my sister's Christmas
Mm.
present that I'm late on. So I'll be doing that to keep my hands occupied. Johns Hopkins Pediatric Oncology right now. I was at a
Okay.
school last year. So obviously in like the medical setting and being in schools, you're interfacing with the child welfare system a lot. I think it's really misunderstood. I think it's misunderstood among social workers. I think that people think that it's the only thing social workers do. So I really just want to understand more, and be a better advocate for kids.
Thank you so much. Okay, we got a couple ASL. Come on, ASL. Cha-ching! That's money right there. Okay, I'm sorry.
It was kind of funny. I started learning ASL, and the person I got into a relationship with after, both of their parents are deaf. So it was just
Oh,
perfect timing.
nice. Yeah, it's such a any other language that you can have is really good. It's definitely good. Annapolis Middle. Okay. Oh no. All right. That's a five. Sorry, I'm just catching up in the chat. Sorry. Intake. I'm mentally checking all the people that said they do CPS because I have um a duty for you in the next couple classes. Baltimore County DSS. Hey, Mackenzie. Emma. Okay, we got two Emmas. Okay. I was okay through 12. Okay. Oh, yes, Frederick. Mm, nice. Hi, Becky. Anna, can you not talk about food? I just need something sweet right now. I'm a little hungry.
Break time.
Right. And Kaya and Anna, y'all need to get together because she's placed at SSA and you want to take it over. I don't know. She might tell you don't come over here. I don't know. Or she might say come over. I don't know. I haven't
I'd say
got
come over. I don't
yeah,
see
come
why
over.
not.
Okay,
Hmm.
nice, nice. And Maya, tell us a little bit about being placed at pediatric oncology because that to me just feels a little heavy. How do you manage that?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because that's like the reaction that you always get.
Yeah,
But it's interesting because like a lot of you are like DSS, child welfare, CPS folks, which I think is just as heavy, if not
yeah.
heavier in some ways. Um, I think that for me, like the heaviness is a part of it and it gives it like meaning, but it's
Hmm.
also something that is like really difficult. I haven't had a patient that I know really, really well pass yet. So like ask me when that happens, I guess. But the nice thing is that I've been able to rotate into a lot of different like units in the
Okay,
hospital. So I'm getting a lot of experience, but my kind of home unit is pediatric oncology. But I like
okay.
the seriousness. I like taking it seriously and like being a part of these kids' journeys. And most of them live, which is the thing that people don't know. Most children
Yeah,
survive.
I just when I hear oncology, I just think like,
Yeah.
oh no, like
Yeah.
Grey's Anatomy, like
Yeah. It's not, sometimes it's that dramatic, I guess, but yeah, I'm enjoying it so far.
Good. And we have a motorcycle scooter, a motorcycle license, Marwa. Yes, I love it. Okay, and I like the fact that we have a variety of settings, right? So, I know we have our child welfare folks, but we also have hospitals, schools, is what I'm seeing. Some shelters. So I like that we have a wide variety, so that you all can bring those scenarios and those experiences in. It's going to be really important for you to continue to share with me what your expectations are, or even just like what you want or what you're interested in. Because I definitely want to make sure that I'm giving you something. I probably can't give you everything you want to hear about, but I can give you most of it. So definitely tell me what that is. I already have scheduled. I'm going to be bringing in speakers. And yes, as a professor, do we like bringing in speakers so that we get a break? Yes. But also, I don't know everything, and I'd rather bring someone in that can give you a better perspective on maybe an area you're interested in. So I already have scheduled a forensic social worker that deals with, I saw a lot of sexual abuse units, so that definitely it fits that. But I think just forensic social work in general is one of those areas that I'm like, oh, in school I never really heard about it. Like I heard about it, but I never really knew anybody that did it. So pulling her in is going to be key. So just be thinking about what you would love to hear about in terms of working with children, or just any area in social work that you're kind of wondering about. So you can drop that in the chat. I'm also going to, right now, I am going to be bringing in um, some that have lived experience with either being in the foster care system, so that you can also hear from those persons as well. I think would be good. But tell me else, what else are you interested in? What else would you like to know more about? So that I can make sure to either bring a speaker in or we can have discussions about those topics for sure.
My question is, I'm 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 wondering about just like reporting and how like sometimes that could be kind of tricky when it comes down to just like cultural making sure that you're not reporting, making sure that it's not, making sure that you're doing the right thing and your
Mhm.
reporting is accurate and just that part when it comes down to, you know, that's what I just want to I want to can you enlighten?
Yes, I love that. And is that Tarina? Did I say it right?
Yes.
Okay. Um, Great, because I have a whole class for mandated reporting, and I'm gonna get, I thought I would just have, normally I just have one or two CPS, but this class we got a whole lot. So you all will be giving the presentation on mandated reporting because I just think it's a little bit better from someone that is currently in it and investigating it and those sorts of things. So we're going to have that as a part of our class. That will be, out. Whoever does it, I'll see what you can get out of. Maybe you can get out of one of those participation assignments or something, because you're going to be doing that. Little mini presentation, just so that we can um hear from you kind of what mandated reporting looks like. And I like the fact that we have some different jurisdictions too, because it might be different, not necessarily in terms of the reporting, but maybe the kind of cases that come in and how that looks. So I'm excited about that as well. Want to learn about what's on the horizon. Okay. Who is doing it right, especially internationally? Okay. That's a good, yeah, international. I gotta see what we can do for that. Ethics of adoption. Yeah. Yes. So we are going to have a transracial adoption debate. So we're going to have that. We're going to talk about that. So that's going to be coming up. Boots on the ground, advocacy, policy writing. Yes. So keep putting it in there. As you think about it, keep putting it in there. Um, because I really want to make sure that we have a great discussion and have great learning. The other thing that I was thinking about when Maya was talking, just about, when you think of oncology, you just think about death. I find in child welfare, we really don't talk about death as much as we probably should. So at first I was going to start with a fatality scenario, but I was like, maybe not on the first class. Maybe let's just say hi and, get to know each other. But I have some fatality scenarios that came from Prince George's County. But you know, at any time you can bring scenarios up. Always, use not their real names, use a pseudonym. But I just love hearing scenarios because you can be doing this job forever and just it's just things are new all the time. Like things are happening, things are new all the time. And right now, Maryland, I feel like we're always underneath the fire. We're always under some fire. We are currently definitely under fire for a fatality that should not be happening. I did the wrong thing and looked at the comments, and I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, they were going in about the child welfare system, just saying that, the workers are lazy, they don't do their job. Well, of course this happened. Why are they in hotels? Like all of those things. So we're going to be having a discussion about that as well. Um, oh, how to toughen up. Oh yeah. I'm probably the wrong person for that, but we can help each other. Um, yeah. How do I make sure I'm not policing Black families? Yeah, and that is not just a white social worker problem. Like anybody can be policing Black families because that's how the system has been built. So we're going to talk about that as well. We're going to talk about how should we reimagine child welfare or should we just abolish it and just get rid of it altogether? And I have some great interesting reads on that. That's very interesting. Um, hmm. Yes. I like it. I love it. I love it. So I'm so glad that we are going to be learning together. Um, so a big part of the class is going to be your participation. Um, it's so funny because I thought that breakout groups were like really cool, but one of my students was like, I hate breakout groups, but I'm sorry if you hate a breakout group because I hate a lecture, so I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of lectures. But we will have a lot of discussion based. And you can start bringing things in. If you see any current events, we had recently I saw something, where I get all my news, social media. I saw something about a therapist that got killed. So like safety, I think is a big thing, just for social workers in general. So bringing in that current news. You want to complete your readings prior to class. So like right now, so what you'll be doing after this class is you'll be going on to module one and making sure that you complete module one readings. Yes, heavy on the safety. Um, and then probably most classes, I'll have some async work. And the reason I'm going to have async work is because we're not going to go all the way until 9 o'clock. Okay. I like to be in my jammies by 9 o'clock. So I cannot foresee us being on here for 3 hours. So some days we may go past 8 just because like if we have a speaker or I foresee like when we start doing our presentations that probably will, because we have so many students, it'll probably go maybe a little bit past 8. And I can let you know ahead of time what days to kind of brace for that. But definitely for the majority of our classes, we'll be going until 8 o'clock. And so a way for me to justify not having that hour every week is just to have that async work. It's going to be typically like a discussion board. It's not going to be anything heavy. It's not necessarily going to be graded, but it'll be considered in your participation grade. Um, there aren't a lot of assignments for this class, which is probably a good thing, I think. Um, so that's kind of how the structure will be. We'll have a class discussion, we'll have some breakout groups, we'll have some activities, and then we'll have a little bit of some kind of like reflective work or afterthoughts for you to do afterwards. Yeah, who can learn for 3? Yeah, I can't sit on, yeah, no. Unless we're doing licensure prep, then it's like fun. But other than that, no. There are going to be at least 3 dates I know so far that we will not have class. The first one is going to be Advocacy Day. So for Advocacy Day, if you go to Advocacy Day, because oh my gosh, can you imagine being on Zoom for like uh what, 6 hours and then being on Zoom for another, it's too much. So Advocacy Day is not mandatory, it is voluntary. If you go to Advocacy Day, then whatever the like async work for that day, you do not have to do. So you'll just go to Advocacy Day and you won't have to do anything else for this class. If you say I'm not able to go or I just don't want to go, then I will give you like a mini policy kind of reflection to do, and it'll be again like a discussion board. You'll read the policy and reflect on it. Again, you don't have to do it if you go to Advocacy Day, and I'll make sure to put this all on Blackboard. It's not on there yet, but so we will not have class on 2/19. We will not have class. Hold on, let me pull up the other dates. We will not have class. What's my calendar? March the 5th. Obviously, we're not going to have class during spring break. And we will also not have class on the 26th. So no class on 2/19. But you'll have like an async small assignment. No class on 3/5, no class on 3/26. For 3/5, you probably won't have an assignment because your midterm quiz will be due. So I'll probably just have you study. That'll be your like assignment for the day. For 3/26, you may have something that you are working on that day. Any questions about Advocacy Day or the days that we will not have class? And again, I'm going to post them on Blackboard as well and remind you.
The day that we have asynchronous work, whether if it's because we don't have class or, like you said, it's just a part of the day's lesson, when is that due? Would it be due like by the end of the class period or end of the week?
Yeah, so it'll be due like you're gonna have something for today. So it'll be due the next class. So it'll be due I don't know the date, the 29th. And it'll be due by 11:59 just to give you just in case you forget, then you can do it like during class. Um, but if you want to do it beforehand, that's fine too. So it'll be due the next class by the end of that day. So you won't get something assigned and have it due like within that same day. That makes sense. You'll get some time to complete it. All right. Hmm. Okay. Let me go to the actual so there are essentially four assignments. Your engagement assignment has a part one and a part two. Part one is the actual recording. Part two is the reflection on the role play. I know you're probably really tired of role plays at this point, but here's another one. So you're gonna do a role play. You can do it with each other or you can do it with your family member. I really don't have whoever you get as your client, it doesn't matter. Sometimes people just pick each other in the class since you both have to do it anyways. So you could do it that way. It doesn't have to be in person. You can do it over Zoom. So both of you can be on Zoom and you can do it conducted that way. Or if it's someone like in your family or something, you could do it that way as well. Um, so it's going to be a recording. I'm going to provide you with a plethora of scenarios that you can select from. And the main thing will be just really looking at how you engage when it comes to talking about child abuse and neglect, and those sort of things. Um, so those are two assignments right there. Let me get you the due dates. It's a fairly simple class. Okay, so part one is due February 28th. When you do your recording, you also want to make sure you have a transcript with it. So if you do Zoom, just record it. When you record it, make sure you check off a transcript so you can do it that way. Also, I'm sure Blackboard has something to record yourself like built in. So you could use that too if you wanted to. Then again, your engagement assignment part two, that's going to be due March 14th. So you kind of have two assignments due like right before spring break. So you have the engagement assignment part two, but there's like 2 weeks in between. So your recording is due first, and then like the write-up is due. So essentially, if you wanted to do the write-up at the same time you do the recording, you could do it that way, just to get it out the way. And then the midterm quiz is going to be due March 15th. And the reason that it's a quiz is because I want to get you in the mode of test taking. And we know that in social work, I mean, I didn't go to University of Maryland, so I'm not really sure if you've had a lot of tests, but typically it's like a lot of papers and not tests. So wanted to just get you in that mind frame. It will be true and false. I think there's a couple fill in the blank and multiple choice. Um, it will be open 2 weeks before it is due. So you have 2 weeks for it. And I always give out study guides. So I'm going to give you a study guide of what's actually on it. Typically when we meet, I'll like pop some questions into just to see if you got it. I like to use Kahoot sometimes, just so that we have that material. So you'll get the material as we go on, but it really is to just see from week one to kind of I think that's like week 8, to see where you are with the material. Um, and then the last assignment is a presentation. You're going to pick a child welfare issue and then discuss it in a presentation. And then we're going to present to the class. So we'll probably need at least probably 3 classes to present. And although presentations sometimes are what they are, what I would say is that the reason why I do like it for this class is because a lot of times the things that you all present on, you can present at a workshop. Has anyone ever presented at a conference before? Okay, Greta, I'm seeing a no. Start doing it, because that's how you start getting yourself out there. Going to conferences is a great networking thing to do as well, and just being able to talk about what you do is going to help you build your brand. Um, because Kai is going to help us figure out how we how we advertise ourselves. I'm gonna make Kai tell us how to do that. And so we need to really make sure that we are elevating our voice. It's a great way to move that information. Who wants to just do all this stuff for school and then you never talk about it ever again, right? So something that you might be interested in, or something that you've maybe written on a lot, or something you want to focus on for your career. Um, being able to present on it, look at it like that. Like look at it as something that you could take and do at a conference. Um, make it so that'll make it maybe a little less painful. But I really do enjoy the last class that we did. It was really good. Like the information was really good. So also you can view it like that, just learning about different information, different areas about child, because we're not going to get to everything. We don't even have a book, like to even, because normally I would say we're not going to get to the whole book, but we don't even have a book. So it really is going to be based a lot on articles, which is a good thing because that makes it more relevant to what's actually happening, and we're able to pull in a lot of resources. So that's going to be that assignment, and that will be due. The PowerPoint is going to be due on March the 28th. That will give us time to present it like that day and then a few classes after that. And then we'll have a wrap-up class. So our last class, I had this all written down, but I think I left it upstairs. Hold on. Our last class should be the 23rd, because your grades are due on the 4th or the 5th or something. So our last class will be the 23rd. And we'll do presentations. Oh no, we'll probably do presentations on the 2nd, the 9th, and the 16th, and then we'll do a closeout on the 23rd. Any questions about any of those things? Greta, go ahead.
I see that there's a Thursday, the April 30th. I don't know why my brain couldn't form words for 1 second. April 30th is a Thursday, but we won't be having class that day.
No,
Okay, just checking.
no. Be free. Yes. Start celebrating on the 30th. Yeah, that'll just give me time because I know most of you all are graduating, so that'll give me time to be able to get your grades in.
You said April 30th?
Yeah, with the 23rd is our last class. So we won't have class on the 30th. And then grades are due, I think, May 4th or something like that. Y'all know when grades are due because y'all be emailing me. Like, did you put it in? Where is it? I can't see it.
Dr. Boone, can you just confirm? You said presentations due March 28th, but then you had just said, oh, that way we can present that day, but that day's a Saturday. Am I crazy?
No, that's what I said.
Okay.
Never mind. The 2nd. So April 2nd, April 9th, and April 16th. I think that's right. Those
Yeah.
will be those three Thursdays we'll do the presentation. So it'll be due the 28th, but we won't start presentations until the
Okay.
2nd. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
No problem.
Are you going to assign presentation dates, or is it kind of just like you'll come prepared, you might present any one of those days?
No, we're gonna do it ahead of time. We're gonna schedule it. Yep. And then I'll also that will probably be one of your async work is to send me your topic. Because sometimes it'll be like, I want to talk about children and mental health. And I'm like, whoa, that's really broad. Let's narrow it down a little. And then last year I made like a topic list. So you don't have to take a topic off the list, but just to give you some like starters, because sometimes you're like, I don't know. Just to give you like an idea of some topics that you could do. I think one time I had a student do it on poverty, and I was like, wow, that's also very broad. It was like a very broad presentation. I mean, we love talking about poverty, but yeah, we want to make sure that it's a little bit more specific just so that you know how to get your information. Because if you put that in, you're just going to be like, oh, wow, this is too much. All right. Any other questions about the assignments? Obviously, as they come up, we're going to go over them in more depth. All of the instructions are on Blackboard, and they should be open to you. Modules, I believe I opened modules 1 through 3. So week 1, 2, and 3 should be open. I still have to go through and update the rest of them. So I'll be doing that as well. But the class is fairly, I don't want to say easy, but it's fairly simple. It's not a research class. It's not gonna give you too much stress. So you should be stress free is that's my goal. To be stress free. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna talk about what you like, and then you're gonna graduate and go off and make some good monies. Come on. Does everyone have an idea of where they're gonna work? No? Okay, that is so fun. It's so fun. So it's also very stressful. I just want to let you know that none of my degrees after I like when I at the time of graduation, none of them did I know what I was going to do. Like, people always ask, well, what are you going to do now that you have a degree? I never knew the answer. I was just like, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Um, so yeah, I can also, what I did last year is that I also asked for, what are you looking for? If you don't have a job lined up, like you're not in a fellowship that like mandates you to have a job, um, let me know what you're looking for. And I can, last year I put out a call. Typically people want to be therapists. And so I got a bunch of therapy clinics that were hiring, and put it on Blackboard. So just let me know what you're looking for. I can, put it out there to my social work people. Um, because social work is such a small world. And I promise you, if you saw me in undergrad, you would be like, "Do you talk?" I'd be like, "No, I don't talk." No, I only talk to people I like. Like, no, I don't talk. But the social work just made me, it did. It brought me to be a little bit more social. Not that I like have to put myself out there, but it's almost like even if all you do is be nice to people, that is networking, literally. Because people be like, oh, yes, that's Greta. We love Greta. Yes, hire her. Yes, yes. So it's that sort of thing. So um the more kind of networking, like literally when people say social work is small, when they say that your colleagues are going to be your colleagues in the profession, it is so true. Like some of the people I graduated with, they are killing it. They have PRPs. That's why I'm like, let me know what you want to do because they got PRPs. They are making lots of money. They flying on jets. I'm like, well, I missed that. I did the wrong thing. They are like really doing very, very well for themselves. So, um, not that I'm not doing well for myself, but I'm just saying they are like really they got their own clinics. They're doing really good work. So, let me know kind of what you're looking for, and I can hopefully find some jobs for you all because they literally want you. That's the thing you need to know. You are wanted and desired. They have so many vacancies for therapists. It's crazy. They're always like, "Do you have anybody licensed? You got anybody licensed?" That's why I'm gonna get you licensed so I can be like, "Yes, I have all of these people right here, all of them." Assets, go ahead.
Say they want us, but it's just like the job market sucks so bad. Then they want you to have all this experience. You got to have your license for X amount of time. I don't like it.
Yeah,
That's my TED talk.
it can be it can be a lot, but you can do it. And if they give you a timeline to get your license, that's great. Because what that says is that they're willing to work with you. Um, if they say, you got 6 months, or even if they don't say it, that they might allow you it. So apply and ask them and see. And sometimes it's about who you know. And so who I know is who you know. So let me know what you need and I can see who I can, you
Okay
know,
then. Well, all
yeah,
right.
yeah, yes, come on. All right. Tell me a little bit about what you're most excited about for graduation.
To finally have that nice cap and gown.
Hmm.
I have a couple bachelor degrees and, you know, I just want that little cool cut thing.
Yes, your nice arms that you're gonna have.
I
Yes.
never walked for my bachelor's, so I'm excited to walk for my master's.
Yes. Nice. To
I
stop
am really
paying to work.
excited. I'm really excited to just be done classes. I know that probably doesn't sound great being the first day of class, but I am just so tired of like being
Yeah.
at a field placement all day and then coming home and having to like continue doing class. I just feel like you don't ever get a break to just be like off. Like it's like, well, I
Yeah.
still have to reading or an assignment or this or that. So I'm very excited to just like when I come home, my time is mine.
Yeah.
Mhm. I think I'm alongside with that. I just miss my time, but I also am ready for my degree to be on top of like the mantle with my other degrees at my parents' house because I don't keep them at my house. So it's like high school, bachelor's, master's, and now my brother's trying to catch up. So it's like not a competition, but yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to not being the intern. It is so frustrating. I know I'm one of like the older ones in this cohort, um, at a number that's greater than 29. And my instructor right now, her and the other people that I work with, they're all like mid 20s and it like I know age is just a number, but it's just weird and I'm over it. I want to be the real big dog. Like I know my stuff. I've been doing this a long time. Like it's just frustrating.
And really, I'm right there with you, boo. Ain't gonna lie. Being over 29 and being an intern, and then they feel like you're still like, oh, you're just an intern. I am grown. I got grown people problems. Leave me alone.
Hmm. You
Well,
are grown.
I'm
Yes.
a dual master student, so I get to walk twice, and
Mm.
it's
Yes,
my birth
ma'am.
and it's my birthday month, so I'm taking over the entire May just to let you guys know. Yeah.
Okay. So you're not gonna be starting work no time soon. You're gonna be in the
Oh,
island
oh
somewhere.
no,
Yeah.
I've already planned a trip for the day after my second graduation, so we graduate and then we're going to the airport.
I know that's right. I know how y'all do. Okay. I be wanting to be in the backpack and the luggage. 'Cause y'all be going to some nice places. Y'all be like, oh, yes. I love it. I love it. Yeah, what's your dual degree?
Well, obviously social work, and then I'm getting a MPP, Master's in Public Policy from University of Maryland, College Park.
Oh, nice. That sounds like a lot of work. Oh, nice.
It is.
It is, yes. Great, great. Let me make sure that I covered all bases before we get into just a little bit of the material. Okay. Do I have any volunteers? Um, we have quite a few that would like to present to the class about mandated reporting.
Well, what do you mean by that, I guess?
So, so just like Tarina talked about, there are some that are like adjacent to the child welfare system, and may or may not have had an experience of calling and calling into CPS to report child abuse and neglect. So wanting to just go over like what that process is, what kind of rises to the level of making a report. How do you make a report? How do you know when you should make a report? Kind of like just like the logistics of it. And I can definitely give you like the bullet points, but that's like the gist of it. That would be not next week. It's not close. It's going to be maybe class 3. So what's that? February 5th.
I'll do it.
Okay. Who was that? Does that make sense?
That was Macy.
Okay. Can I get maybe one more person and I can have you all split it So you could split the items, and I'll send you an email on like what the sections are, and then you can like split it. Or if we have three people, I can split it three ways, whatever we have. Y'all said she volunteered as tribute, so she's it. That's what happened. Okay. Yes.
I can just take one for the team and help out. I'm fine doing
Okay,
it.
great. That sounds
It
great.
doesn't seem like it's all that. Okay, I was about to say it doesn't sound like it's all that serious. It is serious. It's a very serious thing, but I feel like
Yeah.
it's not like super high stakes to talk about. Like I feel like I'm pretty informed on it already. So
Okay, great. Perfect. So Greta and Macy will give us a presentation on February 5th, and I'll send you some details about like what that could encompass, but you can take it whatever way you want to. I think whatever you share is going to be great. So excited about that. All right, we got that out the way. Let's go over child welfare just a little bit. So, let's look at Blackboard just for a second. So I can show you kind of what you need to review. Anna, do you do any data at SSA?
Um, Not formally, but we're always talking about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Why?
Well, I kind of want to, I was going to reach out to someone in SSA, but maybe you can
Yeah.
find us someone that can talk about Maryland's like child welfare data.
Oh, yeah. Are you talking about like the public data dashboards or
Hmm.
okay. Is there a particular like the CPS side, like the out of home side? Is there a particular topic?
I don't know anything
Just
about the dashboard. It's pretty new to me, so either way is fine. Just
okay.
something about the dashboard would be great. I mean, it can
Okay.
be you, but if you don't want it to be you, someone that you can put me in touch with, and then I'll do the reaching out and stuff like that.
Okay. I'd be happy to talk about what I know. I just don't know if that's what you're looking for.
Okay,
Um,
it is. Any
okay.
anything is better than what I know, so I don't know
Okay,
anything.
I
Yeah.
will email you and
Okay,
we'll see.
sounds good. Okay, perfect. Okay. So this is module one, introduction slash intro to child welfare. Um, I'm gonna kind of show you what you need to do and what you don't need to do. So if you already know about child welfare, you can skip the first one. This is just a nice handout that I like to give to those that may have no clue about the child welfare system at all. So if you fall into a category of I barely know what the difference is between child protective services, family preservation, and foster care. So if you don't know what those three things are, go ahead and read that. It breaks it down. It's pretty simple. This is the child maltreatment report. It's a lot of pages. But this is the national data. So we're going to go over that a little bit next week. So I just want you to be able to review it. I probably will also tell you what pages to focus on because it's a lot of information. Also is the child and family services review. This is also a federal review. So this is just a fact sheet so you will know about it. We're going to watch Removed. I feel like this is just the flagship of all child welfare here in this little video. So you'll watch that on your own, and that's going to be part of your async work for tonight. It's not due tonight. It's not due until 129. And that's the thread not there though. I don't know. You're going to watch the remove video. Act as if you are a social worker with the child within the video and then answer these prompts. You're gonna discuss, and when I say answer the prompts, you don't have to go crazy. You're just going to hit it a little bit because it looks like a lot of questions, but it really all goes together. Attachment theory, at this point, you should be vomiting attachment theory. Like it should be just rolling right off your tongue. How does this apply to this child in the video? What were some examples that you saw from the video that shows the different types of attachment with the child and their parent? And you can even talk about the attachment as far as the caregiver in the video. How might the child's past attachment experiences affect her ability to trust new caregivers? And then you're going to identify some risk and protective factors that may be present. Yes. I think I'm gonna take out the references part. Just forget the references part. I just want you to talk about what you saw in the video because you'll be doing a lot of research later for your other assignments. So just focus on the questions, answering the questions, and I'll take that part out. It's going to be due January 29th by 11:59. And again, the readings are really going to help you if you aren't as familiar with child welfare. They'll help you with that. Any questions? So the video is here in module 1. You click it, it's called removed, and it's 12 minutes. You'll watch it. It is a tearjerker, even for me. And I've watched it many times, and it gets me every time. So just as a warning. Okay. Why do or don't we need the child welfare system? What are your thoughts?
I think at a very basic level, it's in place to just ensure the safety of children.
Okay.
I feel like if we didn't have the child welfare system as like the public safety net, then it would all be privatized. And we all know that all of that stuff is for profit. It's a business, and we shouldn't have children's safety and well-being as a business model.
Okay.
I don't know if it means we don't need it. I do think that a lot of the things that drive child abuse and neglect are like poverty and lack of resources and support. So it's like if we bolstered families, and I know like the child welfare system does a lot of that, right? But like if we put a lot of effort into like ending poverty and securing housing and getting access to like substance use disorder treatment for people and trauma processing and like things like that, we might not need to like focus as much on the abuse and neglect because there might not be as much.
Mm-hmm.
Well, from what I know or understand of it, we might not need it because it could be traumatizing, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Why do or don't we need the child welfare system? Okay. Yeah, I think that it's almost like saying we don't need police. I just feel like we're just so used to all of these different systems being in place that to think about it not being there would be definitely interesting. Um that is something that we will continue to discuss. What it is now, how did we get here? And then how can we change, or do we need to just throw it all away, or should we keep some of it? So we'll be continuing to discuss that as the weeks come. It's a loaded question, on whether we just get rid of it or we keep it, or it's there's a lot going on, systemically for sure. And so we are going to be just having a lot of critical thoughts about this, so that we can see kind of where do we fit in, with what's currently happening. Emma?
Hi. I I want hi. I wanted to add, I was talking recently with my supervisor, not necessarily about this, but it relates to this about um like I think we do need to I said in the chat like we need to protect children but also support and enhance families, and I think there's a misconception with child welfare a lot, and it's the same with everything. Like one bad thing happens and then it's like everyone's the worst. But I think there's been a lot of change not recently but over time, just with the family support and emphasizing how we need to protect children, but in order to protect them long term, we have to support and enhance these families and provide them with long term like resources and skills, coping skills, like small things we think like that. And I even was talking about the SHARP framework of how I'm curious how it'll go over time if more people are learning that. And then we as social workers go in and we have this mindset of how that could change things and how it could change how we're practicing and hopefully certain policies that maybe aren't as productive or effective.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Tarina?
And yet, so maybe saying that we don't need it is kind of like, going too far to the left or right, but um but looking at maybe the system saying that there is something that needs to be fixed because, from what like the media shows or what, news reports, children are getting harmed, and maybe, reports aren't being, I don't know, like maybe workers aren't doing the most. So maybe the system just needs to be fixed in a sense. So maybe it is necessary, but maybe just, the system just needs to be tweaked or fixed.
Hmm. Absolutely.
I agree with that a lot because I'm at in Arundel County Child Protective Services, and I'm now like getting assigned my own cases because I had a mid-semester field change. That's a whole nother thing, but I was talking to my supervisor because with the case I was assigned, there's no immediate safety concerns, like there'd be no reason to remove or anything like that. But it's also just like not a great situation, doesn't make me feel super good. And my supervisor was saying like why, kind of asking me why I feel weird about it. And I was like, she was like, part of this job, unfortunately, is a lot of just like uneasy feelings. Like because of the constraints in this job, you can't do what you morally want to do. So I think that the system needs to be in place. I think the system just needs to be better, and we need to be better about communicating with other systems like legal systems and all of these systems like assistance, food stamps, all of these things. Like I wish it was just one coherent thing in some way rather than like, oh, you need to go here and then fill out this and then go to that person. And I just feel like in some ways it gets so complicated and there's not that like humanistic moral side of it that I'm like, are we helping or is it this causing harm in some way?
Yes. Tarina?
I'm sorry. So I'm wondering, like, and so for me, like, I'm in Maryland, and I only know the Maryland system. In other places, is the system any better? You know, I just wonder.
I would say it depends on what you look at as better. Um, Yeah, that's what I would say. I would say it depends on what you think better. Like what are the metrics that we are saying is good or bad?
Like
Um,
wise, like Greta was saying, like it are as far as communication is concerned, is there some some city where, the communication lines are better, where they're connected just a little bit better? I just wonder.
yeah, I think that you're definitely going to find differences even within Maryland. Um, some jurisdictions when I go, I'm like, oh, this is nice. You got this? Y'all got a one-stop shop and you got these nice buildings and you know, they don't gotta wait in line and different things. So I think that you'll find all of those things will be different. In different places, different resources. Like Baltimore City, we don't have any like housing resources, but maybe in some other areas or some other states, they'll have more resources. Um, However, the child welfare system as it currently operates is the same, like in terms of mandated reporting. Someone comes and investigates it. Then we send out five more people. And then, then we remove like that kind of system is pretty much the same, but you will find definitely differences. We were talking even between Baltimore City and Baltimore County, you'll find differences in terms of how people operate. I feel like sometimes you have a culture in the agency, depending on the jurisdiction, about how things are done. Um, so yeah, I would say I don't know. But I would say overall, the child welfare system is very antiquated. Like overall, we are just really slow in making any types of changes. Like the fact that we have a law that says we can use federal dollars for more than just removing children. Wow, that's so great. Yay. And it took so long for us to get to that place. So some things are just really slow. I think I saw another hand.
I just wanted to chime in for a second because I
Yes,
was
go
the
ahead,
one that
Becky.
wrote about the, like what's on the horizon and other places that are doing, things different, like internationally. Um, and yeah, like kind of combining what some of you said. I know, like what Emma, you were saying, about using the sharp framework, or I'm thinking about I can't remember what she called it, but I went to one of the like early campaign, I guess like rallies or whatever of Marianne Williamson when she was running for president. And she was talking about like creating just like a much more central place for children and like the federal government for like the governance of children. Um, and like her talking about just like at a, you know, federal level, like we need to have, a social worker there when like anything happens to like a child's parent because they need to be following up, like just the continuity of care. And like Emma, or maybe it was someone else who was saying, like, yeah, just like, is there a way that we can be more, that seems like ideal, and I'm sure some other country does that better, but like streamline and communication between agencies so that it truly cares. Because what we've learned, like even in just like the prerequisite to this whole program, the like structural oppression course, or I can't remember exactly what it was called, but we just learned that like that's just not our country. Like our country is not a kind of welfare country. Like we are always, it's always about like having to prove that you need that sort of thing. We're not like generous in that way, I think, by nature and by our history.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think absolutely. It's such a both and I feel like. But yeah, we're gonna definitely talk about like how the system is made and kind of how we got here. But I know for Baltimore City, we had a director at one point that said she wanted a social worker at the time that a child is born. Like every family gets a social worker. That sounds so good, but also it sounds very invasive. So it's like, how do we balance not, taking over a family's life? Um, you know what I mean? Like sometimes more services, like access to services is very good, but sometimes more services is actually not the issue sometimes, sometimes it's a little deeper. And so like how do we get to the deeper part? Emma?
Oh, I was just like kind of annoyed by it. Like a social worker should be there for every person when they give birth. Like I think that we have like I don't know. I think we always have good intentions. Like that's why we're in this field. But I do feel like our good intentions are like at the end of the day, I'm not the parent of these kids. So like the parent of these kids is the one who needs to decide. Like right now I have a case where she wants to homeschool her children, and I understand that the department is like, no, we don't really want that, but like we'll see if it works, I guess. And so it's an interesting to me as someone who is homeschooled is like,
Mm.
yeah, I mean, she totally could do it. Like, but would it be perfect? Probably not. I Homeschooling wasn't perfect for me, but I don't think public school would have been perfect either. So I think sometimes we get this narrow perspective and start to kind of infantilize our clients a little bit and like think like, oh, well, just because you're involved with me, like obviously none of us are consciously thinking that, but it's like I can see that thread of like, well, because you're involved with me and we have that power dynamic, I know better than you. And that's something that I really, with my clients, I'm like, I don't know better than you. I really don't. But I do need to make sure your kids are safe, that their well-being is ensured, and that there's permanency, those like three core things. But we get caught up on like the weeds sometimes of like, we don't want this person to make this decision because in our minds, it's not going to work out. What if it does work out? What if she is like the best homeschooler ever and those kids like thrive in that environment? You know? I don't know. It's like that like don't
Mhm.
take away the creativity from people. Um yeah, I don't know.
And what if it doesn't? And I often say to my students like we want children to have be safe. Um And we also want children to have everything. Like we want them to be in this ideal situation. We want them to um have a 75-inch flat screen TV in their room. Like we want them to have like everything we had or more or and sometimes that's just not what they have. I mean, they just may not have that. And so like sometimes I think the harm part is that we do feel that we know better and then we remove children and then we're not thinking about how to maintain them in their own family, in their own neighborhood, in their own community. So because we're not thinking about that, now we have divided a family, and just really thinking about, all of those things. So what the new up and coming thing right now, it's not really new and it's not really necessarily up and coming. It's just that we're focusing on it. That's what you'll find in child welfare, that we have trends that aren't necessarily new. They're just something that we're focusing on, is kinship. Our definition of a kin is basically a relative. Our definition has changed. In the past, it has been like a number. Like it must be, I think it used to be 5 degrees of blood relation. Like you can't go any more than that. You see it in like the movies where like the teacher or the coach adopts the student. But in Maryland, that was not allowed. You could not do that. So now we are really trying to focus on family by choice. What is the family of the child? And it doesn't have to be blood related, because a lot of times that's not just how families work and how support systems work. And so we're hoping that that opens up, with that idea of family by choice, that that allows for children to really stay with who they should be with. However, that comes with some bias, right? Because if I am removing from a family, like I'm removing the child from the parents, and you come from the same family and live in the same community and have the same possible intergenerational things happening, you know, how am I going to view this, right? I'm always going to view this nice house over here where they have spent some extra money. They've bought all the newest things. I'm just going to view that like it's a little bit better, right? And so really making sure that as we move forward with our family matters, and our kin first kind of mindset as a state, that we are also making sure that we aren't overlooking the family members, just because they're associated with the family that we just um conducted the removal. And I'm pretty sure my language, there's a whole bunch of new language, and I'm sure removal is not what I'm supposed to be saying. Um, and I'll make sure we get the updated language too. So, because language is important. Tarina?
Yeah, so that was some, I'm glad you said it. So, just so I'm clear, you're saying that a child can be removed from their parents if if the home is deemed like they're in harm, so they're harm, right? So they can be removed from the home and put with uh the uncle or a friend of the family
Mhm.
that is that the child believes is they're safe with, or they investigate and they seem to be safe to the child. Is this right?
Yes.
How, okay. So what if they're put into the home because it appears to be safe and they're really being put into a home that's not, yeah, that's not as safe. Like you were saying, like how are they determining what the safety factors are?
It's a good question. There is a lot that goes into it. Um, what we are saying, essentially, what we're saying is that um I would just like you to know that when you work in child welfare, nothing is a guarantee. It's a very hard place to sit. Um, so we do checks, right? We do all the checks. We do the internet check. We do um maybe the fingerprint check. We're gonna check. We're gonna see, do you have any criminal history? Are you on the sex offender registry? We're gonna do those things. Um, but outside of that, we're just going to continue to monitor and make sure that nothing else happens. But it's a very much a wait and see, watch and see, assess and see type of situation. You do have that element of the what ifs, right? Um and so that is definitely an element of, you don't know necessarily what's going on there. So you are still monitoring, you're still talking to the child. Hopefully the child has built a rapport with you and they'll tell you if something's not right. Um, you can see your social work spidey senses can see that maybe something is not right. Um, Building good social work spidey senses is important. Um, but yeah, it is a lot of unknown and a lot of Russian roulette, because we aren't with the children 24/7. Like I can't literally be with this child 24/7 to see and make sure that they're safe. Nor should I be, but essentially, like, I can't. And so you do have situations where we put them with a family member, and then something still happens to the child. And um, so that this is really why we are asking, why do we need or don't we need? Do we need it or don't we need it? It's very much
And this was so you were asking about like try kind of figure out where you want to be. That I honestly, honest. I I told my field instructor, like I love children, but I really don't want to work with children. I really don't want to work with children. So, but I do need to know because I never know when I'll have to ever work with a child.
yeah.
And in my
Because those adults you're working with got children.
right, right.
Possibly, they might.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I need to know. I need to know, but yeah.
Yeah, it's very delicate. Um, and I tell I'll be telling like some personal stories and some professional stories, but I just tell people all the time, I never really knew how easy it is to harm a child. Like they're very delicate in terms of like physically. Not even talk about the emotional side, but like the physical side of a child. And parenting to me, now that I have a child, is so much emotional regulation. Like I have to really regulate myself to be able to provide like a stable response to this child. Okay. Because they're built to like test you. Like that's they're literally growing like how they're supposed to, but as they're growing how they're supposed to, they're like testing your whole emotions and life. So we kind of talked a little bit about this. We're not going to go very much further. I just want to make sure we hit some things before we dive in next week. But there are a group of services that are designated to do three things: safety, permanency, and well-being. Those are our three federal child welfare outcomes. Those are the things that they are hoping that every child welfare system is doing. They are promoting safety, well-being, making sure the child is healthy and has everything that they need in terms of their health. And then also making sure that they have a permanent place to be. So you have these different levels, right? So the federal is what I want you to look at with that fact sheet, the child and family services review. I just think it's good for you to know, like, federally, kind of what the child welfare system, like what they're looking for, what they're evaluating. At the state level, we have COMAR and family law. So you may hear that a lot, COMAR, and the family law, like all of those have different regulations about child abuse and neglect. And that is what informs and is what we are bound by. As social workers, not just for child welfare, but I imagine all settings have some COMAR regulations that are a part of your scope. I know as a child welfare worker, I didn't really pay attention to COMAR, but I'm learning now that I'm teaching that I should have probably knew how to look up stuff in COMAR because that is how we make sure that we, don't get sued and that we abide by the law. So important to know those things. Local Department of Social Services. So in Maryland, we have 24 jurisdictions. And so we have all of them have local Department of Social Services. And then we have individual service or units, and that's where we get into like the child protective services, family preservation, out of home placement or foster care. We talked about all three of these. You're going to look at that video later. So Child Protective Services is probably the main one that you're thinking of. Receiving and investigating reports of child abuse and neglect. Family Preservation Services is where I did my 3 years, and I loved all of it, and I just love family preservation. I love family preservation because you get to work with families. Um, it's definitely you, no matter where you are in child welfare, you're in the streets, okay? You're tearing up your car and well, if you're in Baltimore City, your car is tore up, okay? Because you the streets are tore up. Um, and so you're definitely in the community, meeting with families. So all three of these, you're going to be meeting with families in their homes. Um, the one thing I liked about family preservation is that the children are still home. And so it really gives me a chance to work with the family and really see, like, let them know I'm not here to take your kids. I don't want your kid. Like, I just want to see, like, why we're involved and how I can make my exit, right? Because we want families to be able to be independent. And that is the overall vision of the Department of Human Services, is that um, all families can be independent. Out of home placement or foster
I have
care.
I have a quick question, if it's okay
Sure.
to chime in.
Yeah,
So, what kind of confuses me a little bit about the child welfare system is like I understand it's CPS, family pres, and out of home. Where does like substance exposed newborns fall into things? Like there's like little branches of things inside these, so which confuses me like where do those fall into these three categories, if that makes sense.
sure. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So in each of these, you can have any type of, I call it like little niche units. So when we introduced ourselves, you saw that some of your colleagues are in child protective services, but they're in the sex abuse unit, right? So it really, you could have a sex abuse unit in any of these, really you could. Maybe not at home, but you could definitely have it in child protective services, family preservation. The SINS unit also could be in all three. So I would say with substance use, it just depends on, to be honest, it depends on the jurisdiction. Like when I worked in Baltimore City, it was in all three. Like you had a SINS unit in Child Protective Services. Only those investigators got substance use reports. Then when they moved forward into family preservation, they only got, and that's what I did. I only got substance exposed newborns was the reason they came in to be involved with the child welfare system. So that's all I had. I didn't have physical abuse. I didn't have any other neglect type of cases. That's all I had. And then out of home also had a substance exposed newborn unit. In Baltimore City, we have a teen unit. All the teens that are in foster care, they go to this, set of social workers. So I would say it really just depends. We also have like a medically fragile unit. Some jurisdictions, they'll have a like school-based, like we would have like truancy workers that would work with schools to see those children that are missing school. So I would say it really just depends on the jurisdiction to know where these specializations are. And it does differ. It definitely differs. Like right now, I believe, because it always is changing, Baltimore City no longer has a substance exposed newborn except for family preservation. So they took it away in the other units. So yes, there are specialized units. Um, and so it's I like that. I like being a part of a specialized team because I only got certain types of cases. And that helped me to be honest, I quickly learned not that every case was the same, but I was using the same services, going to the same outpatient facilities. I started to learn their names on a first name basis. Hey, I'm back. Um, working with those partners and providers. I went to the hospital a lot because that's where the babies were. They were in the NICU. So It did allow me to build those skills. You're gonna build them quickly no matter where you're at. But I like knowing kind of at least the realm of what I was getting. And so I imagine even though sex abuse is seemingly to me, I've never done sex abuse. I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I would want to, kind of thing. But it might be similar that at least they know the realm and they're kind of really do understand those services a little bit deeper.
Yeah,
Tarina?
like it's really nice in sex abuse. Like I got to know all of like the special victims detectives like really fast because that's all you work with. Like you don't work with
Yeah.
MCPD, you don't work with like the regular police department. You just work with special victims. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that part of being in like a special unit is that you really do get to learn more about that. Tarina, did you have a question?
Yeah, so I know you're trying to get through the slides, but um you hear about so much of the problems that go on within child welfare. Are there a lot of successes also? Have you had a lot of success stories?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I can say for me, and we'll hear more about everyone's success stories that I hope you have already in your internships and just maybe working. But yeah, I had a lot of I worked with substance using mothers. And so a lot of my work honestly was working with the fathers. The fathers, a lot of times in child welfare, we forget about the fathers, but they were right there taking care of babies, to be honest, that they didn't even know if they were theirs, to be very honest. And they were doing it in a great way. And a lot of my work, because I was in family preservation, there was no removal. The child just lived with the father while I was trying to work with mom. I had a lot of moms that had great success, was able to remain clean, get housing, have their children, and were even working in the facilities and mentoring others. So I had definitely success stories, and I think that's what drives you, to be honest, in any social work job is to be able to see not even what you've done, because I really didn't do much. They did all the work. I just, was there to see it, honestly. But being able to see that even with a mom, she had 9 kids. She didn't have any of her children. All of them were either the youngest ones were adopted, the older ones were in the system. When I met her 17-year-old, I still remember this. When I met her 17-year-old son, I don't know, in my head, if you're, you know, if you have endured trauma, you're just traumatized. You're just walking around traumatized. That's just in my head. He was doing great in school. I just wanted to bring him home. I was like, "Oh my goodness, you are just the sweetest, kindest." Again, doing great in school, not in the streets, not doing anything that he shouldn't be doing. Because you're just thinking like, well, your mom has issues, then you're gonna have issues, and you're gonna, you think about all the statistics and what's gonna happen to them, and none of that was happening. He had a relationship with his mom. They had a good relationship, even though he wasn't with her, full time. So you do have a lot of good success stories. It's just not what we focus on because that's just how we are in America. We like the drama. But I can't wait to hear, especially about the sexual abuse. I always think about that. So I can't wait to hear all about all of your scenarios and stories. I'm gonna try to see how we can maybe have some features. So maybe we can integrate like if I email you ahead of time, like, hey, bring a scenario and like let us know about it, like one of your cases. Just to, get some of your experience. I think that would be cool to hear what you all are working with and working for. Um, Okay. Yeah, and here are some other units. So you have a unit just dedicated for meetings. You facilitate meetings. It's a great job. Um, Independent living, those that are needing some assistance and are living possibly on their own or in an independent living program. You might have, these are just for the ones in foster care. You might have like a specific age, like I said. Adoptions, they have units just for those that are getting adopted. They have units for those that are recruiting caregivers to be caregivers with the state. And this, I found out you get money for this. This home study, yeah, it's money in that. I was like, oh, really? Oh, let me find out, it's just different ways. You're like, oh, I can be a contractor and do home studies for different, agencies. Yes, you can. And write up the assessments, very clinical, and it's child welfare. So that's great. So there are so many, like you said, so many different units and different things that are in this broad system. So with that, after every class, I'm going to try my best, hopefully by tomorrow, just to give you a recap of what we talked about. I'll post the recording, and then I'll also let you know what your async work is. It's already posted. You're going to watch removed and then do your reflection. And then I will see you next week at 6. It's going to be at 6. But I will see you next week if there are no other questions.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, y'all. Thank you, Dr. Boone.
Everyone
Thank
stay
you.
safe.
Thank you.
Yeah, stay warm and safe.
Dr. Boone, I have a quick question. It's really
Yeah.
fast.
Hold
So
on,
I
hold
know
on.
you're doing. Oh,
I mean, stop the recording.